In this video, I'll be talking about Olive from Best Friends in the World, how she nearly became a villain or became kind of evil. Okay, now if you have watched the show, it deals with Olive and her group of friends, and sometimes they go on some adventures. Maybe they deal with other students who are not so morally upright, who try to maybe get their way or bully others. Okay, so Olive nearly became one of the villains in the show, or nearly became the evil that she now fights often. Okay, now it started off as they say, charity begins at home, and she nearly became that villain because of the parenting or her upbringing. Okay, so Olive is a very smart girl. She's always the center of attention in her class and among her friend group. Okay, there are a group of four friends, and she's usually the center of it because she's the smartest, the let's say cutest, but she's the star of the show regarding her friend group and in the class. She always gets top grades. Okay, now the first scene which shows how pampered or like how pampered she is or why she's always the center of attraction or attention is when she was the first scene when she was being driven to school by her mom and then their personal driver. And then when they got to the school, you would expect that as a young lady growing up. I mean, you are able, you are strong, you are agile. That's the time you are most you want to like walk a lot. Like you are more agile around that age. Now, what do we see? We see the driver get down from the vehicle, go to the back seat, and open the door for Olive to get down. I mean, it's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Okay, except that it kind of sets a precedent to the young lady that no matter how old the person is, the driver is, she is expected to be treated like royalty. There is nothing wrong with being treated like royalty. But when you raise a young lady or a young boy in that fashion, they begin to feel entitled. Okay, so you'd from that point on, you notice that should she maybe get to school later on as she's growing up, she would expect the same form of treatment. Okay, but when you tell the young lady that, oh, well, have a nice day at school, get down and go to school, I mean, you start to like let her know that, come on, a grown man, although he's not on the same like financial level as you, and therefore rendering you that service, doesn't need to necessarily get down and open the door for you. You teach the young lady those basic things. All right. So that's one of the scenes which I saw at the beginning. I was like, hey, oh, she's living the good life indeed. So that's the first thing, and that kind of builds your kind of your pomposity or your pride. The second red flag I saw in Olive, okay, was when you see, as I mentioned earlier, Olive is usually the first in class or the first to mention socially. Okay, then a new student was transferred to the school. Her name was Maria. She's needy, but she's quite brilliant. Okay, now, when she came, when new students transfer to schools or when you have a newcomer in school, everyone's attention is on her. Everyone wants to maybe impress her, be her friend, ask her where did she come from. The new student is always the center of attraction. But instead of Olive to just also be equally interested in knowing the student, the new student called Maria,
Maria.
she rather got jealous. And it's fine to get jealous. I get it. I mean, when you are the center of like attention and that happens, you kind of feel weird. But usually you just let it go. Over time, it goes off. But not in a case of Olive. Okay, instead of like letting it go, being her friend of Maria, she rather treated her distantly, treated her bad, and she went a step further. You see, she nearly became a villain. She went a step further and orchestrated, or hey, pardon me, orchestrated, if I'm correct. She orchestrated a plan, a heist, a robbery, or a frame. That was pure evil. She went to the office of the principal of the school, stole money from the principal's office, and then started to make it seem as if Maria stole the money. You see, Olive is one of the trusted students in the whole school. So when the principal asked her who she thinks could have maybe stolen the money from the office, she mentioned Maria as a prime suspect because of her background of being needy. Okay. So the principal and the school board then like started to maybe blame her or accuse her for being the one to steal the money. And she was nearly suspended from the school because she was the prime suspect and they believed everything Olive said. And that boils back to the narcissism, the arrogance, the pride. Okay. I get that there is no real father figure in the house of Olive, but even if you're a single parent, there are some basic manners, also there are some basic principles that you teach your daughter, and that's what I learned from that first episode. Okay, so Olive. Later on, she changed, and I'll be breaking down more episodes as I watch them. Later on, she changed, but those were the main red flags I saw in her. The main red flags which would have turned her into a villain or the evil that she fights nowadays. Okay, so those were the key lessons, and I do encourage you to watch other videos on the channel where I break down all the characters. Thank you for watching.